In our area in Blanchardstown at the moment, there's a lot of 14, 15 teens at the moment. It's like that's the age group that we have there. What we're finding there, especially, I think one of the problems that we find there is there's already a pre-existing stigma that is attached to the migrants, which is also affecting them in terms of like in the Ongar area, you would find a lot of migrants, children, a lot of blacks, Indians, Polish. That's where they would all hang out. But then in Little Pace, you'll find a lot of the Irish would hang there because that's where a lot of the Irish people would live. But then it starts looking as if you'll find the same number of teens in Little Pace, whites, and the same number of blacks in Ongar, but they all allocated that the blacks were gangs, and so that stigma starts following them. And that is something that started to affect them from a very early age, where people started calling the guards more, around there while, they couldn't understand why. And they're not understanding that that is a stigma that is coming from other countries that is allocated to them because of the color of their skin. And because of that, that also, start getting them to be defensive, to be very defensive, and and to authority. So, when people see them together, and they're enjoying themselves. I mean, the boys in our area are not giving they haven't started giving any real trouble yet, in Ongar, Little Pace area, but it's the stigma that is starting to affect them. But one other thing also we realize is that, like in our house, we have boys in there, sometimes up to 30 boys in our house all the time. We find that parents is a big issue. They're never home. Yeah. They are never, we'll have boys in our house till now. I'm like, why are you still here? Oh, there's nobody at home. There's nowhere for them to go. Or they're hungry, or, And as you were saying, if a child keeps having that, they're going to go to their parents. They're going to go to where they can feel love, where they can feel, get that home food that they need to get. And they're going to get it from other boys that are not really, intentions, their intentions and stuff. And that peer pressure is a massive thing. According to what you said, Erich, it was the same thing we were talking about earlier, is that we don't realize the domino effect that happened from when we started coming here in 2000. And I remember when I came here in 2000, I wish I was not black, because the amount of criminality that we as adults were doing, the amount of frauds that we were doing, we forget that our children are growing up and they are learning from us. And now that our children are doing what we were doing, years ago, we're now saying that they are being bad, but it's not. They're just following in our footsteps. And that's why I said earlier that whatever we as adults do has a massive effect on our children when they turn into adulthood, because they're looking to us. And that's something we see in Blanchardstown, where, in August we did a 1-week teen camp. And when we, in July, and when we listened to the teens in the area, the first thing they were saying is that nobody believes in them. There is nobody there that, they can go to and talk to about their problems, that there is no resilience. They have not built up any resilience. And that was one of the main things that we got out of it, was that, they were looking at the adults around them and they weren't seeing good role models at all. They weren't seeing this. And you say to them, okay, where do you want to go? Oh, we want to go to a party now. Why? Well, my mother go to party every night.